Now that our motor box is complete, 3 main pieces, 2 sidewalls, and your top piece here, we are going to actually decide what we're going to do next, which I'm going to mount my little tiny EDF unit here. Actually get it out of the box here and take a look to make sure everything lines up so we can mount this. There we go. Look at that. That little tiny EDF unit with that little brushless outrunner. Such a cute little EDF unit. Okay, first thing you're going to notice here is there are these rings on here with the little lips on there. If you look down this way, you can kind of see that they're not lining up. These need to be lined up with each other, parallel. Right straight down the line with each other. So you can definitely spin it still and make sure it lines up. And then once it does line up, we're going to test fit this onto the motor box. It just slides right on into place right here, because you need to gauge where to move these little rings to be able to match them with the line, with the gap right here on the motor box. There we go. And once it's there, once you get it into place, we're pretty much just going to glue this whole thing down into place here. Okay, test fit time. Press. There you go. Perfect. Okay, so that would be, I would call that a perfect fit right there. I can show the camera there. That's how it looks when it's perfectly mounted onto the motor box. We're going to leave our brushless outrunner motor wires dangling from the bottom here, and then once this is on and in place and you're happy with the position, make sure you check the position of the actual EDF unit, that it's not twisted or anything like that. These just need to stay nice and straight, which is going to be fine. There is an angle, there's a thrust angle built into the box, so you're not going to be able to change that. That's just the angle of what this EDF unit will be sitting at once it's mounted on here. Okay, I'm going to say that looks pretty good there. And if you use the rubber cement right here, you can, but I still would say definitely go with a CA or super glue. And once it's in place, I'm just using super glue and I'm wicking it into the wood. This plywood is very absorbent, and there's not much pressure going on to this little wing. You don't really need to be using excessive glues like epoxy or anything like that. Once that's there, that is there. I'm going to go ahead and wick both sides. There we go. Be careful. This CA now is on the thin side. Okay. And then another thing now is you could choose to actually glue the rings here to the little blue clear transparent EDF housing, or you can choose not to. I don't glue that because it's not really going to go anywhere. It's pressed into place. So this way, in the event that you need to change out anything with this little unit here, you can press on the whole EDF unit and it'll actually just slide out still from the front side if it'll actually come off that way. But I don't see a real need to glue the whole fan housing down unless you really truly want to. Okay, so now that the motor box is complete like that, we will move on to this section here, which pretty much is you're going to install your motor speed controller to the EDF unit. And right now what we're going to do is you're going to pick the wires are not color coordinated on brushless outrunners. If the motor's running in the wrong direction, all you're going to do is unplug 2 of the 3 wires and then just switch them with each other, and it would reverse the motor polarity. So for now, we're just going to stick them on here in any orientation, and then you want to have your transmitter and receiver ready at this time, because once you're at this level here, this step here, you're going to want to check to make sure that that's running in the correct direction, and then before we actually glue this motor pod onto the wing. Once you have your radio system set up and picked out and ready to go, we'll go ahead and check the direction of the EDF motor. In my system, I was planning on using my new Aurora 9X radio with an Optima receiver, but I actually ran out of receiver. So we're just going to use a park flight receiver this time around and check everything, and for this flight review as well. So let's go ahead and plug in the battery here. This is a little 2-cell, and we'll listen to the tones. This is a little 2-cell 370 milliamp Turnigy Nanotech, and then also use these little Hobby People batteries too in the 2-cell. They're like $6 or something like that a piece. Grab yourself a whole bunch of those, and you can definitely go and fly for quite some time here. Okay, we have it plugged in. We've heard the initializing tones coming from the motor itself. So now let's go ahead and throttle up a little bit and see which direction the motor is going here. Actually, I was right. So I got lucky when I mounted this little motor in there and plugged it in, because it is in the correct direction. So now we are going to know that that's correct, so we're not going to unplug the motor wires anymore. Go ahead and unplug the battery, shut your radio off, and then this part here you could pretty much leave as is for now. You have another choice here. You could run your speed controller on the outside if you're worried about cooling or anything like that with cooling issues, which I don't really see much of it. So I pretty much just double side tape my ESC speed controller to the top of the bottom of the motor casing, or to the side, whichever is your personal preference here. There's not much as far as the EDF unit drawing any kind of induction purposes wise, where it's going to produce more power if the ESC is blocking it or not. So it's just personal preference here. So go ahead and do that now, and we will meet you back over here with the elevon breaking in portion.